Alright, so today we're looking at quadratic models, and we're going to be using the calculator for this part. So the very first thing is I want to find a quadratic function that includes the following points. So I have a point -2, -17, 1, 10, and 5, -10. So we're going to be using the calculator the same way we did last time to figure out a linear model. So the steps are, first go to Stat, over to Edit. So here's your Stat button. And I'm going to go to Edit, which is right there as well. Okay. And in list 1, I'm going to put the x values. So my x values were -2, 1, and 5. And in list 2, I'm going to put my y values. So list 2 are -17, 10, and -10. Okay, if you ever need to clear a list, go up to the top and hit, oops, went too far. Hit clear and then enter. Don't hit delete because it will delete the whole list and then everything will be messed up from there. So let me input those y values again so that we can move on. Okay, so x's are inputted, y's are inputted. Now, after you have those both put in, you're going to go back to Stat, over to Calc, and down to Quadratic Regression. So, number 5. Okay, this number 5, it'll be different depending on what type of calculator. If you have a 84 calculator, it'll have a bunch of different things, and at the very bottom it'll have calculate, so you'll hit calculate yes. So now, this tells me what my A value, my B value, and my C value are. So what you're going to do is you're going to take those numbers and plug them into that equation. So I have y equals, my A is -2x squared, my B is 7x, and my C is 5. So this is the quadratic function that goes along with those points. So those points should be on this graph. Alright, so that's how you do that. Alright, example 2 is a word problem, and it has to do with wavelengths and their speed. So I'm going to give you the wavelength 3, 5, 7, and 8, and the wave speed is 6, 16, 31, and 40. So the first thing is I want you to find a quadratic model. And then after that, I want you to use that model to estimate the wave speed of a deep water wave that has a wavelength of 6 meters. Alright, so very first thing is I'm going to follow these same steps and I'm going to input these in. So these are your x, these are your y. So we go back through, I'm going to clear this, Stat, Edit, I'm just going to go ahead and clear both of these by going to clear at the top and hitting enter. So I have 3, 5, 7, and 8, and then on this side I have 6, 16, 31, and 40. Alright, so now that's done. I'm going to go back to Stat, over to Calc, and down to Quadratic Regression. Alright, so here we have this. These numbers look kind of funny, but we're going to round to the nearest hundredth. So my equation would be y equals 0.59x squared plus 0.34x minus 0.33. Alright, let's take that off. So there's that first part, find the quadratic model. Now I'm going to use this model to estimate the wave speed with a wavelength of 6 meters. Well, that wavelength represents your x value. So I'm going to take 6 and I'm going to plug it in for my x's. So f of 6, so we could say this is f of x, is 0.59 times 6 squared plus 0.34 times 6 minus 0.33. So if we take all of that, let's plug it in the calculator. I have 0.59 times 6 squared plus 0.34 times 6 minus 0.33. And I get, oh man, I messed up somewhere. I put a negative, there we go. I get 22.95. So, when the wavelength is 6, it has a wave speed of 23 meters per second. So when f of 6, that's 23 meters per second. Alright, and there's our answer on that one. So both of these are your answers. They wanted the model and what the value is when x is 6. Okay, so the assignment for this is A10, page 245, numbers 16 through 26. Alright, good luck and let me know if you have any questions.